Manager, please let's take the national pledge and thereafter we'll take the NIM Code of Conduct. Shall we take the national pledge, please? I pledge to Nigeria, my
My
country,
country
to be
loyal and
faithful,
honest,
loyal and honest, to serve Nigeria
serve
with
Nigeria with all my strength,
all my strength, to defend
to defend our
her
unity,
unity and
uphold
uphold her
our honor
honor
and glory.
and glory. So
So help
help
me
me
God.
God. Shall we proceed to the code of arms of our association? That I,
That I,
as a professional manager,
as a professional manager,
will put service above self
will put service above self
and will ever seek to find
and will ever stick to find
and employ more efficient and more economical ways of getting things done.
more efficient, more economic ways of getting things done.
That I as a professional manager
That I, as a professional manager,
accept the most scrupulous and transparently honest and ethical process of thought
accept the most scrupulous and honest, ethical process of thought
for all decisions in my daily work,
for all decisions in my daily work,
and be myself free
and be myself free
of any fraudulent and or corrupt practices,
of any fraudulent and corrupt practices,
and within my scope of authority,
and within my scope of authority,
treat all persons as being equal,
treat all persons as being equal,
and refuse to give special favors or privileges to anyone.
and refuse to give special favors and privileges to anyone.
So help me God.
So help me
so
God.
help me God.
Okay, we will take the next item on the agenda. I can see that we're already 11 in attendance, and we're hoping that other members will join. Eminent Manager Regina, you didn't carry your ear set. It would be better if you use an ear set for the meeting, because you would have.
I didn't come out with it. I'll fix
Okay.
it when I get home.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
That's okay. Are you driving home?
I'm just leaving the office now to the house.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Please don't get distracted as you're driving. Don't get distracted as you're driving.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll just listen.
Okay. Okay. So, by way of my opening remarks, again, I'd like to welcome eminent managers to our meeting for the month of July 2020. And incidentally, this is the second Zoom virtual meeting that we're hosting in our chapter. And I'd like to congratulate everyone who has been able to come on board. I like to mention that because of the pandemic, please, we're getting noise at the background. Please, let's eliminate the noise, please. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, I'm sure you know that there's a new normal, and I don't think that there ever will be a time when organizations or associations will revert to status quo. The pandemic has come, one with a challenge, and the other with a blessing in disguise, because you know that many organizations are re-strategizing on how to survive within the business terrain. And as a management institute, we couldn't have done otherwise. So I congratulate all managers for ability to upgrade. You know, there are still people who are struggling with this kind of electronic medium of connecting with members. So and I want to thank Meeting Commission that we should go virtual. Let me once again thank Eminent Manager Emmanuel Furu for facilitating this with the Public Relations Officer. I'm grateful that we have a resource like him in our chapter, and you can imagine that the sky, there's a lot of space in the sky for him to grow. Let me very specially acknowledge eminent manager of Book, Nelson, who is going to be our resource person today, who is going to take us on our presentation. I don't know whether he's already in the house, but I know that anytime shortly we will be listening to his lecture. So I appreciate him for accepting to share his resource with members. And I like to also appreciate fellows of our institute that are in our meeting, particularly I can see that Taide is already on board. We had him, and again, he's here on board. So it shows the interest that those in the fellows category show to our chapter. So I thank everyone. Because we don't have all the time, I would like to just ask that we try and make every time useful in this meeting. I do know that Zoom is coming up with some modifications. They're beginning to ask for payment and so on. I don't know how long they will allow this meeting to run, but be that as it may, I'm glad that we've started. And I pray that everything will work together to the good of our institute and members. Thank you very much. I like to say by word of closing that the national office had notified us that we need to send reports. There are rebates waiting to come back to the branch. And if it comes to the branch, of course, you know that somehow it will impact on chapters. Those rebates that comes to branches as a result of payment, renewal of membership by members, they are there waiting, but we will not be able to access it until we send our report. So I want to use this opportunity to ask the Secretariat to begin to compile reports for the last 1 year so that we can put them together and send them to the national office. That way we will be able to access our rebate. Let me welcome Eminent Manager Otuekong Isidem Joseph, the Executive Secretary of RKCA Akwa Ibom State. I can see you, sir. I know that today had been a very busy day on your official engagement, but you made the time to join this meeting. You're greatly acknowledged. So let's, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. So quickly, we'll take the minutes. I don't know how many of us were, okay, before we go to the minutes, I don't know whether there's going to be any response from the members regarding the remarks that I've just made. Would there be any response? Otherwise, we'll take our minutes. Any response, please, from members regarding the remarks? I will assume there's no response. So we take the minutes. The Assistant Secretary has had posted the minutes for the last month's meeting, which was the first virtual meeting. Of course, even though that minutes did not come very, we had a shorter time than we had the other time. So I don't know whether there's anybody who has anything that would want to raise in the minutes so that we'll be considering the minutes for adoption and moving on to something more important. So we're taking the next item, which is minutes consideration and adoption. Consideration and adoption of minutes, please. We'll go page by page. I think they're just 2 pages. So please, if you have a copy of your minutes or you have a web access on the minutes, I would request you to raise any issue on page 1, whether there are issues that would need corrections in this meeting. Page one, please. Page one on the minutes, anything? Okay, we'll take the second page. Would there be anything on the minutes on page 2? Anything on the minutes on page 2? I hope we're okay. Your audio is on, yes, and your video. We're having issues with some of our members. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, I am on.
Okay. They made what Ataide doesn't is not on with his video. I think Fanabong audio for me, please. Let me send a message to Fanabong.
Yes, sir, you are on. Your audio is on.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
My audio is on. I wanted to send a message to Fanabong Iban because he's asking for help.
Yes, I have sent him a message how he will come in. But you can click on chat and then click
Yes,
on.
I'm chatting. I'm chatting.
Okay.
It's very easy for you to, let me say, to destroy. Exceptionally difficult to do. It's like in a house. The house that took you 2 years to build, somebody can demolish it. So it's the same thing with when you are trying to reconstruct things like this. But people should have just a little question to navigate. No solution is absolute. You can only navigate and see. As I keep saying, nobody, no man living yet on earth ever seen it. And if by February anybody told us it would be across the globe, nobody will be able to make it. Nobody could have believed it. Since I was born, this is the first time in my life I heard something affecting children. When we were much younger, we used to say, why like if you complain of rain, it's after all rain.
Eminent manager, it looks like the sound is coming from your end. You're not using a headset, so there's a sound.
Okay.
And yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, so we're still on the minutes. Would there be anything? Otherwise, let's get the motion.
I've handled that.
Adoption of the minutes. Okay, that sound is not coming again. Any motion for the minutes? Motion for the minutes. Can we get a motion?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, sir, the resource person,
Yes.
Mr. Ofombo Nelson, is here in the room.
Okay, we just want to get a motion to adopt the minutes and then we'll go ahead. We go to the presentation. I'm not sure there are issues arising from the minutes because can we get a motion? Okay, accepted through popular acclamation like we did in the last time. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Please, all in favor that the minutes of our last meeting and first virtual meeting be adopted as correct. Please say aye. We're going to adopt it by popular acclamation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, against say nay. So the ayes have it. The minute is hereby adopted. So we will, because we may not have a lot of issues to discuss in the minutes. I will ask Emmanuel Onyenokoro to very briefly. We already have the profile of our resource person to please present him to us and sign him on so that he can go ahead with his presentation. Over to you, Emmanuel.
Okay.
Please turn off all the sounds at your background. We are not using a headset, please.
Eminent managers, with due respect to the chairman, distinguished fellows, and all the eminent managers here present in this meeting, it is my privilege to sign on to the podium now to present to us in our this month's management talk on a topic that says the new Akwa Ibom State Farmers Enumeration Program Prospects and Benefits. The resource person who is going to take us on this lecture is no other person but a professional manager, an investment analyst, and a bureaucrat with integrity. He is a deputy director in the Department of Agriculture and at Akwa Ibom State Investment Corporation. He is the man in the center of the entire program of enumerating all farmers in Akwa Ibom State. And we are very lucky that he is also the secretary of our chapter. He has gratefully accepted to address us this day. Therefore, right now, I have the privilege to welcome him on board to take over right now to give us the
Daniel
lecture.
Udo,
Mr.
Daniel Udo, turn the sound off. You are distracting. Please, Daniel Udo. The sound is coming
Mr.
from your end.
Ofombo Nelson. Mr. Ofombo Nelson, please, you may now take the table. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Hello.
We are hearing you, sir.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to especially thank the chairman for giving me this opportunity, and particularly Emmanuel Oyenefu, the chairman of the Education Subcommittee.
Secretary, please.
As I'm
He's
speaking
actually
to you,
secretary. He's actually secretary, resource person. Emmanuel is secretary of the committee. He's the vice president that is chairman, please.
Okay.
Vice chairman, I should say. Yeah.
Okay. So it is my privilege. It is a privilege to me to share a few thoughts on the enumeration of Akwa Ibom State, the prospect and benefits. I actually plan to be in the office before now, but we actually told the 3 local governments, Ibiono, Ichu, and Ikorekene. So I'm joining you from Ikorekene. So, straight to the market, enumeration is of an item, in this case, farmers. So, enumeration of farmers in Akwa Ibom State, we are trying to establish the numbers of farmers in Akwa Ibom State, their location, what they do, what they call the enterprise. So that is what invariably we are trying to create a database that will be used in planning, in carrying out activities as regard agriculture as far as Akwa Ibom State is concerned. Now, you may ask, who is a farmer? Some people just believe that farming activities is limited to cultivation of crops and rearing of animals. Now, that's true, but farming involves the cultivation of crops and rearing of animals to the point of making it a commodity for consumption that can be consumed. Value chain that is involved in agriculture at the point of production, at the point of processing, and at the point of getting it to the consumers. That is what we call value chain. And as such, because of enumerating farmers, we are interested in those actors that make agriculture or farming a business. What do I mean by business? Before now, people involved in agriculture for subsistence benefits, but we are encouraging farmers to go beyond subsistence level, a business that they can actually make money from, that they can make a living from. Because if you look at the responsibility of agriculture concerning any nation, agriculture must, as a matter of fact, produce food for the citizen, produce raw materials, generate exchange, and above all, create employment for the people. And because of that, it becomes very, very critical that the government know who and who is involved in agriculture. And because of that, we approach, in the case of trying to set funds for farming activities, we approach the Central Bank of Nigeria and other donor-funded agencies. And one of the requirements was that who and who are your farmers? Where are your major farms located? And we realized that we couldn't actually answer that question convincingly. And based on that, we raised this issue with the government. And it graciously granted that we should carry out this exercise in all we can know who and who with me that as far as the state is concerned, there are industries. Industries have been established. Most of these industries are agro-allied, which means that they need raw material from the agricultural sector. And you cannot just cite industries. If you are citing an industry, you need to know the capacity. You need to know the capacity of the plant. I'm sure you are aware of the vegetable greenhouse along the airport road. You are aware of the cassava processing mills the 4 cassava processing mills in the state. You are aware of the upcoming coconut plantation. Now, all this, either at the production level, will need to be processed, or if, for instance, the that oil palm is what have we been able to establish of the oil palm as so the things that would be thrown up at the end. So far, some local governments are doing very, very well in the enumeration. That will give us the phone number, the village. what are the qualifications of those that are not young? So once that is done, we are also interested. Do we have more women participating in agriculture business? Who are the farming population? Do we have young people that get parents? So issues like that is able, if you are looking for government area, if you are looking for have advantage, so that in the siting of these industries, these industries will be sited close to sources. We should be able to know we have the dry season farming and the rain season farming. Now, we should be able to grow some crops around the year.
Emma, please admit some people at the door, please. Manuel Onyeneforo.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please admit some managers at the door. Please admit them.
Okay.
Okay.
So it is through this enumeration that we'll be able to establish the number of people that are involved in processing. If you, during the pandemic, you realize that if the pandemic was to continue for long and all the borders were shut down, you realize that there was a person point in time that perhaps ourselves. The reason being that I'm not sure we have been able to the tonnage of cassava produced in maybe plantain to be addressed. Now, are you with me?
Hello? Yes, sir. You said? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Part of the information that we also intend to get from the enumeration will be financial information. You see, there are funds here and there, but it's the people that those things didn't get to the actual farmers. So one of the benefits or one of the things that this enumeration will check will be what we call the portfolio farmer. Because through the enumeration, we are going to count the accounts of these farmers where they bank so that after verification of their farms and of their needs, we can now link them with financial institutions direct, and based on that, they can now relate directly and whatever is that what going through a third party. Now, we are also some of us are aware of the central bank anchored borrower scheme. The anchored borrower scheme was actually supposed to service farmers various level farmers. But if you look at the statistics facilities at the central bank, you will realize that the number of farmers from Ibadan that have been able to access that facility is very, very minimal. And as such, we want to encourage our people to make use of these facilities from the central bank to produce more food for our people to feed ourselves and also to service the industries. So it is our belief that at the end of this enumeration in the states will have been able, from the dashboard, you can see the number of people involved in cassava production. You can see the number of people involved in plantain production. You can see the number of people involved even in processing. Because one of the things that have actually been discouraging these farmers is when we have gluts in the market. We encourage farmers to go into production, they produce, and at the end, because the Central Bank of Nigeria website, you realize that they have disbursed about 428 billion naira to farmers. And if you look at that, I'm not sure that you see farmers from Akwa Ibom benefiting. The reason being that we didn't have a reliable data before now. So I'm very, very convinced that by the end of this exercise, already they are demanding for the available data. At the end of this exercise, we are going to forward this to them, and from there, they are going to hold discussion with the various farmers. What do I mean by subsector? Planning to ban palm oil importation. And that is why the central bank has voted some money to encourage indigenous development of oil palm plantation. The essence is that at the point of banning this commodity, Nigeria as a nation will have been able to have, if not enough, at least what to meet our local demands. The same thing applicable to rice, the same thing applicable to beans and all other crops. So once this data is ready, the users of this data will now segregate the farmers according to their enterprises. Enterprises in the sense that those that are growing rice, those that are growing beans, those that are growing palm trees. And now design programs that will suit their needs. And also, in order to ensure that the value chain is properly taken care of, government also intend to cite some processing plans in where some of these crops. So it's very, very critical that we know who is producing what and where and in what quantity. Now, you are aware also that farming on its own has a lot of challenges. The challenges of input, meaning improve, because you don't just evolve as a business, you don't just plant anything. You must plant improved varieties of these crops. So you need to know, where am I getting this improved variety from? You need to know, do I need any form of training? Because I tell you, if you feel education is expensive, then we tried, it is into agriculture these days again. Most of the people that are doing well in farming, they actually acquire whatever they are producing. There will be structured training for farmers to suit their needs. Now, in terms of transportation, government can now plan that where do we really have the farms, so that if roads to those farms cannot be tarred, at least they can be provided with all-weather roads. And that is why you have, for instance, there's a program called RAM, which is Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Program. The essence of that program by the World Bank is to see that where we have concentration of farmlands, that the roads there are made accessible, because it is one thing for a farmer to waste to spend time and apply a lot of resources, and at the end, he cannot get the produce to where it can be processed or where it can be sold at a good rate. So all these things are some of the things that at the end of the enumeration, we have all this information on our dashboard, and we can now, government can now begin to address those problems won by this enumeration. So having said that, I want to say that I want to encourage some of us, that even those of us that are civil servants, if you have a farm, a robe, because you can practice your farming side by side with whatever profession you find yourself. If you don't have space, get involved. Get involved in any of the value chain of agriculture. The value chain remains, are you into production? Are you into processing? Are you into marketing? Once you get yourself involved, I can assure you that you can always augment whatever you get at the end of the month with what you get from.
Are you true, sir?
Hello?
Hello, sir. Are you true?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
Eminent.
done.
Okay.
I would like to entertain questions and reactions.
Okay. Eminent managers, we want to appreciate our very own Mr. Ofombo Nelson, who is incidentally also the man at the center of it all in the state. He has again just delivered the lessons to us. Now it is our turn to react. We'll react by asking questions. Please, if you have any question, just go to the lower right corner of your screen. You will see where they said raise your hands. Click on chat. If you click on chat, you will see clap hand or raise hand with anyone you see there. Just click it. I will identify you from here, and then we will give you the floor to ask your question. Please. And please, I would like to also appeal to our sir. Are you still with us? Eminent Manager Nelson Ofombo. Are you still with us, sir?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. So please, I would like you to please, if you have a piece of paper there, as the eminent managers ask their questions, you just note them down, because we only give one opportunity to ask questions, so that you take all the questions all at once.
Hello?
So please, eminent managers, the floor is open. Just raise your hand. I will recognize you from here. Please, let's be fast about that. Please, is there anyone who has a question to ask? Is there anyone who has a question to ask? Okay, I don't think so. Nobody has raised hand. Anybody want to ask question? Okay, so eminent managers, we want to appreciate you for being part of this management talk, and our speaker. We also appreciate you, sir. I'd like to also add
Thank
that
you.
our speaker has also graciously appointed yours sincerely to coordinate members of our chapter who is also interested in agriculture. I have the form. So anybody that needs it, please just link up to me and you will have it, so that I'll give you the form you fill, and whatever education you need from that program will also be made known to you. I think our eminent manager gave me that privilege because, as you can see, the program is taking him far and wide. He's very busy. He won't have time to attend to us. So I can do that on his behalf. As many as has that challenge, you please get started to me. So I can see our chairman raising his hand. So chairman, sir, I'm handing over to you. You can still ask your question and then take over from there. Thank you very much.
Let me raise something. I'm just joining.
Okay, chairman, sir, let me unmute you.
All right, I've unmuted myself.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to say sincere thanks to eminent manager of please, Emmanuel,
Yes,
I
sir.
like Mandu, you are distracting the meeting.
You start eating now.
Can you mute Mandu? I think there are too many words coming from there. Eminent manager Emmanuel, please mute everyone for now, please. Okay, I'd like to sincerely thank our dear own eminent manager of Ombuk Nelson. I was very excited when I saw him send us that post with His Excellency the Governor. He had audience with the committee, and of course, we are benefiting as an institute from his interaction with His Excellency the Governor and the privilege of having to work in this farmers enumeration committee. I have learned quite a number of things. I know that he has also learned. I want to ask, in the course of his presentation, I noticed that the emphasis he made was on in terms of enterprise. He was talking about palm fruits, rice, beans, and very little was said about animal raising of animals. So my question was to ask whether the enterprise is only focusing on plant products or whether it also encompasses the raising of animals. And if it does, what are the benefits that can come? Now let me read something before I close. I think it was Dr. Akinwumi Adesina that said that by 2030, the size of the food and agricultural business in Africa will reach 1 trillion naira, $1 trillion, $1 trillion US dollars. He says, so if you are thinking of how to make money, this is the sector to be in. There's no doubt that agriculture is a sector that is evolving, and managers are encouraged to invest in agriculture. So I want to ask our resource person to talk about the animal component and also talk about the ease of accessing the CBN grant. He had talked about the anchor borrower scheme to service farmers. He had also talked about that the CBN already disbursed 428 billion. What is the ease, assuming managers have these farms and they have registered, how easy it is to access the grant. Thank you very much. Please, resource person, you can go.
Please, before our resource person takes his time, I would like Mando, because Mando has been raising his hands since. Please ask your questions, Mando.
Okay. Mando, we're waiting for you.
Hello?
Hello, yeah, we can hear you now, Mando.
Yes,
Okay,
Mando.
okay. I'm saying I'm sorry for evening managers. Good evening, all happy new month. I'm sorry for joining now. I was unable to, have the audio. So I learned from what I'm hearing. I think the lecture is almost over. Please, I will need more information, and also I've heard my chairman talking about something grant, something agricultural, whatever, as it relates to animal raising of animals. Also, I'll be interested to get the information so that I know what to do. Start a little agricultural this in poultry, in terms of poultry aspects. Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
thank you. Can we get the feedback from the response from the speaker?
Okay, please, you may unmute yourself. Speaker.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you
we
very
can hear
well.
you, sir.
All right. The hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
You see, going to the livestock is basically made up of two areas. You have the livestock and the fish.
And what, sir?
Now,
Livestock is made of two areas. You say livestock and what,
one of
please?
the animal production is made up of two areas: the livestock and the fishery. Under the livestock, you have poultry, you have piggery, you have goatry, rearing of goats, which is a delicacy. And as far as Akwa Ibom State is concerned, we are past. And if you cast your mind back in those days, our parents used to raise goats as their form of savings. And if you are living in a very big compound, it does not require much. Then, in terms of poultry is one of the money stealing venture in agriculture. You can go into the broiler production or you go into the layers. For the layers, I can assure you, if you have the space, as soon as the eggs, as soon as the start laying the egg, the market, of course, you know that we can't meet the egg market because that is one area. But the truth of the matter is that in poultry production, if you can take it a step further, because in poultry production, 70% of the costs will go on feeds. So once the broilers are matured, you just have to sell them off. And it does not mean because you have to sell them off, you sell them off at a giveaway price. And that is why we are talking about value addition. You can now add value to you in the cold room. Once that is done, one, you have saved the cost of continuing feeding the birds, and you have saved yourself the embarrassment of selling it at a giveaway price. And at that point in time, you can now regulate how you sell your. Now, aquaculture on the other side, which is the fishery, most people now have collapsible fish ponds in their homes. It is quite easy. But like I said, you need training. For you to embark on any of these enterprises, you need training, because one single mistake can lead to the death of all the fishes in the pond. So you need to be properly guided. In fact, if possible, let someone mentor you in the first circle, so that you can now begin to take off from there. Now, you also talk about accessing these facilities in the central bank. Now, that is what I'm encouraging. I encourage people, especially workers, if you want to go into farming, make sure that you go into, so that at that point in time, you'll not be under any pressure, and start small. When you start small, you can now learn through the process. Now, you cannot just walk to central bank and access this facility as a first timer. They want to see how you have grown from your own personal account, because at the point of requesting for maybe a grant or a loan, the financials will be interested in seeing your track record, how you have been, what those records. When you hear people say they cannot easily access those facilities, it's because they have not been keeping record. And you and I know that there is no way you can just walk into a bank and access a facility. They want to see how you have performed over the years, so that even if it is a grant, they want to be sure that the grant is not going to be wasted. So in terms of accessing those, as I'm speaking to you, the central bank is granting some farmers at 0 interest rate to be able for them to be able to cushion the effect of the COVID. NISA Microfinance Bank is the microfinance bank arm of the central bank that is dealing with individuals. And I think in Akwa Ibom they have their office at the Abak, former post office in Abak. That is where they currently have their offices. If you go through them, you don't just approach them at the point that you need the loan. You go through the process, register with them, have an account, interact with them, and I can assure you they will definitely handhold you to the point of you accessing that loan. So for those who have a large hectares of land, I encourage them to go into livestock production. For birds, going to there's basis.
Eminent manager, it looks like we're losing the sounds.
It's like he has been cut off. He has to try to come back.
Yeah, because the sound is not there.
Because network, it's like network is not very strong
He's not.
where he is
He's
in
not
Ikotebene.
strong in Ikotebene. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think we need to make progress until he's able to come back. Eminent managers. Um. Our resource person has been disconnected from the room, and I'd like to say a big thank you to him for the quality of information that we've received. I don't know how many of us are taking notes. I have taken a lot of notes, and you know, this is not the kind of thing that we'll have to pass over opportunities. It's an opportunity that has presented to us, and as managers, we need to get started. Every man that wants to grow big must learn to begin small. Unfortunately, the uh, entitlement mentality of earning pension and gratuity is destroying many of our managers. This is the time to begin. I don't think it is. We have to wait until when we're retiring from service. We want to get our pension or get our gratuity to go and start farming. If you're interested, which I encourage everyone to be, this is the time to start. Let's start with 50 birds. If you're going into poultry, start with one collapsible fish pond and learn from there, and then see how you can grow it. Because don't let anybody deceive you that the moment you just have 50 birds, you're going to get grant from CBN. You keep growing it until such a time when you're able to attract the attention of donor agencies. So I thank everyone for their audience. I believe that we will be able to make use of this information. Eminent Manager Emmanuel has already told us that um, our resource person has nominated him with forms for the farmers enumeration process. So please get the form, get to Emmanuel, collect the form, endorse it, and turn it in good time so that we can all benefit. Even, the Bible says that the blessings of the earth is for all. So God has brought us a blessing, and this blessing is not only for select few. Some people will say, no, they've already selected, be able to make any progress. Let's keep trying. And I believe that someday we'll get something. So I thank everyone for their audience. And we will go to the next item on our agenda, which is going to be matters to right. Any other business, because we have a short time for this sector to connect by 6. So any other business, the floor is open now. Any other business,
I
please?
want to ask a question, Mr. Chairman. What does
Go ahead,
the
sir.
NIM national program look like from now, which is beginning of the third half of the year till the end? And is there any way that the chapter is, preparing so that members who want to make contribution towards that might be able to start turning in contributions towards the program?
Okay, Manager Emmanuel to answer that question, the national has a every year. Of course, in the month of that's when zonal meetings are held, and in the month of September we have the national meeting. Thank God that the restriction for interstate movement has been eased. People are now moving. We're hoping that if this is sustained, then the zonal meeting, I'm not sure, may happen because the timing is close. But I still believe that the national meeting might hold. So we all have to begin to prepare ourselves for the national meeting. This is the time for us to pay up our dues to the national so that we become eligible to participate in anything that is coming up from the national, whether they're elections or their nominations to save on any responsibility. If you're not a financial member, there will be a challenge. So we can begin now so that we don't let the thing come heavy on us. Obviously, during the annual management annual national management conference, there's a cost factor that is involved: cost of travels, cost of paying for the conference, cost of accommodation. Though sometimes that is huge. So it's wisdom to begin to plan those things early. That's what I would like to say. At the moment, there are no announcements. I logged on today to check whether there was any information from national. Nothing has come yet. Okay, well, do we have any other thing apart from this? Emmanuel, are you satisfied with the
Yes,
feedback?
yes.
Sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other business, please? For the records, we were 16 at today's meeting. We were 16. I want to thank Ifeon Etuodo, our chapter treasurer. I was here myself. Emmanuel Oyinofuro was here. Simon Evans, Ofombuk Nelson, Jukwenye was here. Odwa Okpong was here. Olakiton Ladipo was here. Professor Folarin Alonge. We have Regina Odokpo, Chief, Dr. Harrison Ataide, FNIM, Mando Jacob, Glory Godwin, Macaulay Udom, Inemesruwa, Oku Ibekwe. So we recorded 16, even though this slightly a drop. Last month we recorded 21 in attendance. I'd like to ask, just like the treasurer has already posted, please, we are not supporting the chapter as we should. I don't know whether it's because of the virtual option for having meetings. Oh, my eminent manager is on now. Fona Basia, is that
for a long time. As soon as you
you've
send
been
the
here?
yes, as
Okay,
soon as
Fona Basia. Yes, 17. Who again? I've not mentioned.
My chairman, my hands has been off for over 10 minutes.
Odrak, okay, I saw your hand raised. I thought you were okay. Odrak, go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you, my manager, my chairman, for giving me this
I thought you
opportunity.
were going to ask. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. I actually joined the late because of other engagement. I wasn't opportune to have listen to what the resource person had said fully. I came in when he was just rounding up, but it was a topic that
Okay.
I'm really interested in. Like I am a fish farmer, and I already registered with done the farmers enumeration in the state. But having known that we have this opportunity to do it with this forum, I'm beginning to think, I didn't do the registration already. I would have loved to do it in this very platform that has been given unto us. But I will also want to know, having done it already, whether there is any way I can be sure that it is well taken care of, that it has not gone into the wrong hand, because I would have been really confident if I had done it in this very platform. That aside, I also want to know how, like the question you've asked about the grants, since 2017 that I started farming, doing the fish farming. It started small, like you've said, that it has grown. I have been trying to access grants. The CBN loan had been on since that 2017 rather, and I had applied for it. several interviews. I've gone through several processes, but up till today, nothing is forthcoming. It makes it look as if the grants are not really real. So I don't know how our resource person can help those of us that have applied, those of us that are interested, to ensure that we access the grant properly. Because like all the requirement he's been talking about is something I have gone through, starting small, having the records in place, everything I have done. But I don't know, even registering with the bank he's talking about, I've registered with them, opened an account with them, but they seem not to be communicating with the farmers. So I don't know what is really going on in that sector. So those are the few clarifications I needed. I also want to believe that this lessons, this topic has been recorded. For some of us that came in late, we would love to have a recorded a record of it to listen over and over again, because I know I have missed a lot of things from the resource persons. So please let the recorded
grow that confidence, and I believe that with the help of the people, the resource people around us, we'll be able to access that. All right, I don't know whether you're fine in are you okay now?
Yes, I'm okay.
So, NIM manager, so far, so good. Let me appeal to us, please. This is another month of our meeting. Let's pay up our due. Treasurer had posted our account last month. Payment was not encouraging at all. I believe that as managers, we don't need to run after people to get them to just contribute 500 naira. Let me say to you that if you were here early, the session timed out after the first 40 minutes because we're using the free platform. If we have to continue in our meetings, Zoom is trying to make money on this their virtual space, and we may have to pay. We'll have to pay if we cannot come together in our usual way to meet. Then we'll have to continue to pay to meet. During the virtual space, we need money to pay, and of course, the money to use to pay oftentimes comes from these bills that we pay to the institute. I want to encourage everyone, please let's try and pay up, and we will keep our records. Those who are not paying, yeah, we will not. Of course, you have to be a financial member to be treated the way you should be treated. So please let's try and pay so that if benefits come through the platform of our institute, nobody will be denied. I want to thank everyone for this meeting. Whether there are other comments on the website, we will be taking I'm not sure whether we'll be acknowledging those who are here on this platform, this meeting for the very first time. Any other comments, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir. In view of the new world we have found ourselves and the way things are happening, I believe
Yes.
you now have 24 hours contact with us, and especially our NIM Uyo chapter WhatsApp group will become much more important now. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
some of the times when you want to address us, I will appeal. You can just do a video recording on your WhatsApp, 3 minutes, 2 minutes,
Okay.
and post anytime. Once anybody sees a post from the chairman, he must listen to it so that once in a while, as the days goes on, you keep on being in contact with us. I think it's also good. And there are also some collaborative tools that are available, especially with Google and other this that can allow us eminent manager to continue to keep working together, different from from our homes. You can still work on projects, organize things, do everything online. Exactly the same way you do it in real time. You can do it online that way. So anytime you have any project or any program or whatever you want anybody to do, just let me know so that I'll be able to set up the environment so that it can be. There's nothing that can be done offline now that cannot be done online. That's my little contribution.
Please, I appreciate you, Emmanuel. I appreciate you. I'll try and adopt that to continue to stay in focus and in touch with eminent managers. Thank you very much. Would there be any other comments, please? Otherwise, can we have, if you're here for the first time, you just raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you. Today is your first meeting with us in our chapter. Our members are dropping off. It looks like some people are having issues of data, so we can close this meeting as quickly as possible. It looks like we don't have new members. I don't know about Olakiton. I don't know whether, I'm not sure I know Olakiton. Olakiton Ladipo. I can't remember whether he was in our last meeting, but that's the new name that I find that is not very familiar. So if you're here for the first time, Olakiton, we welcome you. And I'm particularly glad for Odwa Okwa. Just last month, he joined our chapter, and you can see how visible he has been in this meeting. So greatly you are acknowledged. Thank you for coming. I hope that you bring others who are already members to join the chapter until we're able to set up a chapter at the airport. That has always been our dream. Okay, having said that, let's take the adjournment motion, please.
Okay,
Adjournment motion.
Emmanuel Onyenuforo, having seen that we have had a very fruitful meeting today and exhaustive meeting at that. So I want to say that we have tried today. May we move this meeting to next month meeting. So I so move, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion on the ground for the adjournment of this meeting. Can we have a second? Somebody to second that motion, please.
My chairman, Udwak Okpong is my name. A pleasure to second the motion for the adjournment of the meeting.
Okay, that's the second support to that motion. Let me ask Chukwenye, you've been here with us. Can you please pray and close this meeting? Chukwenye, your video is visible.
Yes. It's Emmanuel Onyenuforo. I'm using two systems
Go ahead.
to be able to monitor. Father, we thank you for
okay, no wonder. Okay, that's all right.
this meeting. I thank you, Father, for all the deliberations. They have been fruitful. We have seen your wisdom at work. We've seen peaceful meeting and everything we have done, we've achieved. We thank you particularly for the management talk that we had today, which has been fruitful and also successful. We thank you, Lord, for our brother and a member, our secretary, whom you have promoted and put him at the center of that event in the state. We know that definitely it is going to reach us. We thank you for the wisdom you have given even our chairman, our chapter chairman, who is also our state chairman, the way you guide him and the wisdom that are given to him, Lord, I say, may you continue to move forward in that way in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, as we go today, let your mercy continue to abide with us, strengthen us. Let your wisdom continue to be with us. All the things that we have ahead of us, even to the end of this year and beyond. God, continue to also grant us the grace and the success to succeed in everything. At the end of the day, we have every cause to glorify you. Thank you for a successful meeting today. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we are praying.
Amen.
Amen. Just before we rise, for the records, attendance was 16. We had 17 before, but we corrected that because Chukwenye and Emmanuel Onyenuforo are the same. So thank you, everyone. I pray that we stay safe and that the Lord will keep us during this COVID-19 pandemic time, and that we will do everything to continue to be productive. I also pray that the opportunities that God has presented today will be exploited to the interest and welfare of members. This meeting stands adjourned until the first Thursday in the month of August, where we will meet again, whether it's going to be by virtual or it will be physical meeting. We will communicate. So I thank everyone making it successful. Thank you and God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would also like to add that this evening, this video will be available on our platform. So anybody who has not attended the meeting, or anybody who came late, anybody who missed out anything, will have the opportunity to go through the meeting again, to be available on our platform this very evening. Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Bye-bye. Good luck to that girl. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, sir. See, somebody's looking at you.